Hey, gang. Welcome back to another episode of the Inspire Nation podcast. I am your host, as always, Dr. Dustin Bain, and today's message is this. You must get uncomfortable. Lean back, open up your mind, let the inspiration light your path to a greater tomorrow. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about getting uncomfortable. When you're comfortable, you are dying. You're either growing or you're dying, and if you're dying, you're not trying. Here's the scenario this week, folks. Okay, so recently my son, as many of you know, is not a professional wrestler. He believes in his mind he's a professional wrestler. Like, he watches WWE like it's going out of style. He loves it. We've got a bunch of the wrestlers that he can play with. He loves everything about it. He likes the WWE kids. So, with that, he hears the words wrestling, so he also enjoys, like, high school wrestling, like little kids wrestling. So we've been taking him this year to a few more tournaments, to which he's enjoying. He likes he doesn't necessarily like practice, but in real life, who likes practice anyway? He enjoys the actual game time festivities. So I took him to a recent wrestling meet. And at this wrestling meet, we had to walk in, and as you're signing your son up, or your daughter, there's girls wrestling as well, there's boys wrestling, it's awesome. Awesome. As you're signing your kid up, they ask the question of where would you rank your kid as far as ability? Like, and there's like beginner, they're learning, they've got a few wins, there's advanced, there's club, there's all this stuff. So with my son, he's I think this year he won maybe 3, maybe 4 matches. He's participated in about 3 or 4 different tournaments. So which puts him maybe at 4-12 or 3-12 or 4-10, I don't know. Losing record. So I chose this particular day to put him in, not in the beginner, not in the just starting, but he's not in the advanced, but somewhere in the middle, like average, right? So as I'm doing this, my daughter Sage, who is 12 years old, looks at me and said, "You're going to put him at that level?" I'm like, let's just see what he does. Let's see what happens. So the first match, the kid goes out there against my son, and this kid is like, my son's 7. I'm just gonna assume this other kid that he's wrestling is like 15, right? So the kid's a giant. He's got muscles. He's toned. He's fit. I'm like, my kid's gonna get waxed, and he got waxed. My son went out there on the mat, and this kid just destroyed him, like grabbed his neck, pushed him down, rolled him over. My son's on the mat crying, looking at me like he can't breathe. He's grabbing around his throat like, I can't breathe. Period ended because they're 1-minute periods, and they do 3 periods for those of you who don't know wrestling. He gets in the second round, or second period, and the kid just rolls him over and pins it. Like, my son just got destroyed. Okay, so he comes off the mat, and I'm like, "How you doing, buddy?" And he's still got tears coming down his face, and he's crying, and he's like, that was bad. I don't like this anymore. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, this is not enjoyable right now. I don't like this. I'm like, "Why?" He goes, I just lost. I'm like, "You're going to lose a lot of times in your worlds, but it's going to be how you respond and show up for the next match." He's like, to a 7-year-old, that means nothing. But I'm saying this to myself, like, okay, he's gonna get this. So come match 2. Well, before we get to match 2, my son and I walk up to the stands where my wife and my other daughters are sitting, and Sage, my 12-year-old, looks at me and goes, "That happened because you put him in the middle of when you sign him up, Dad, you put him in, not in the beginner. He's a beginner." I'm like, "No, this is good for him. I'm not going to put him in the beginner because he's going to go out and win every match, and he's not going to learn anything from it. He's going to learn more from this by getting his butt kicked. Trust me." She's like, "He's doing this because you put him in this through." I'm like, hey, you get better by going against tougher competition. So next match comes. Bing, bing, bang, match 2. He walks out there, and he just had this almost defeated posture. Like, his shoulders are rolled forward. He's looking at me. He's just like looking around like, I don't want to be here. This is not good. I don't like this. And he comes up, and they lock around. They lock arms, and kid tosses my son around a little bit, roots him on his back. My son starts to cry a little bit, and then the period comes to an end. Great. My son pops up, looks at me. He's got tears coming down his eyes, and I'm thinking, okay, let's see what shakes here. And he had the choice of going up or down, and he chose to go down. And I said, Max, your job is you have to get out of this. You have to escape, because if you can escape, you get 1 point. So he does that. He steps up. He escapes. He gets 1 point. Yay, we're cheering. We're like, yeah, good job, good job, good job. Gets to the next round and finishes that period just kind of jostling around, dancing. I call it dancing. They're not really shooting at each other's legs. They're just kind of like playing around and reaching for each other's arms. And at this age, it's acceptable. Later, like high school, you better be shooting. But for right now, they're just dancing around. Gets to the third period. And I think he was down at this point by 2 or 3 points. And gets to the end of so third period starts. He's on top. He somehow flips this kid onto his back and starts getting back points. So by the end of the third period, by the end of the match, it's tied. It's tied 4-4. And remember, this is a kid who just got his butt handed to him on the first match. Like, came out to match 2 and was, like, defeated. And now he's going into overtime. He is going into overtime. He looks at me and he's just exhausted. Like, he can hardly breathe. He's like huffing and puffing and walking, like staggering because he's so exhausted. And he's like, and the ref does the flip of the coin and he turns out red. That was Max's color around his neck. So he gets to choose. And he looks at me and I said, Max, you go down. Meaning he's on all fours. The kid's got to go on top of him, and his job is if he escapes, he wins. If the kid holds him down for a minute, the other kid wins. And the ref explained that to me. He goes, if you escape, you win. If you're able to keep him down, he wins. And I'm like, Max, the only job you have, focus, is to escape. Escape this kid and you win this match. And he still had the staggering look in his eyes like he'd just been smacked in the face. And I'm your only job is to escape. So, ref blows the whistle. Max does a step up. The other guy lays on top of him. Max gets his hips up, steps up, and all of a sudden Max gets away. He escapes. This kid, who is not a beginner, who's not an advanced, who's also an average, but a little above average, and guess what? Max wins. Crowd goes wild. That didn't really happen, but his cheer squad went wild. We were cheering. We're like, yes! And he comes off and he goes, I did it. I'm like, yes, you did. Why did you do it? He's like, I escaped. Like, because you focused on escaping. Yes, you focused on the job at hand. You focused on what you needed to do, not what you were scared of doing, which was losing. You were focused on escaping. The one task at hand that you had to do, you did. And you succeeded. Good job. Now, we came back to the third match, and he got waxed again. But that's another story. So the kid ended up 1-3, but the kid who got first is the kid that Max beat, because it was a round robin based on points, whatever. Don't ask any questions how that all works. I don't know myself, but he was satisfied. He was happy, as was I, because the lesson he learned, as well as my daughter, was if you want to get better, you have to test yourself. You have to push yourself. You have to go against competition that is better than you. If you're going against competition that's equal to you, you're not learning, you're not going to grow. If you're going against competition that's worse than you, skill-wise, ability-wise, you're not going to get better. You're just going to go out there and you don't have to really try. You're just going to go out there and win. What's the point? Yeah, you get a ribbon. Yeah, you get a medal. Yeah, you feel better. I got first place. But in the end, did you grow? Did you get better? In your relationships, are you doing things every single day that push you, that make you think, that so you're not getting comfortable in the situation, where you're coming home and saying, hey, high five, love you, going to bed? Or are you having a moment where you sit down and you share what happened today? At work, are you pushing yourself? If you're used to making 2 or 3 cold calls, are you making 6 or 7? What is it that the champion in your area, in your arena, in your profession, in your choice of vocation, what do they do? What do they do? And I challenge you to do more than they do. I challenge you to do more than them. Win the day. Win every single element of your life. Pick it, choose it, win it. That's all I got. Hope everybody has an amazing day. If you haven't already, head over to iTunes, like us, leave us a review, let us know how we're doing. Also, head over to Inspired Nation, where you can insert your email. I send you a love letter every Monday morning to get your week started off right. And until next time, you know what to do. Stay inspired.